You live in a world where people can destroy your name with a whisper, where one mistake can strip you of your power. But Machiavelli would tell you, there is a way to become so fortified, so feared, and so respected that you become untouchable. Today, I'll show you how. In the game of survival, most people make the fatal error of assuming safety comes from the absence of enemies. They believe that if they offend no one, they will remain untouched. This is a fool's dream. Whether you seek power, wealth, influence, or even simply to live without constant threat, you must understand, enemies will come whether you invite them or not. And when they do, you must already stand inside walls they cannot breach. This is the essence of fortifying your position. To fortify your position is not simply to build physical defenses, though in my time, the stone walls of a fortress spoke louder than 1,000 promises. It is to surround yourself with layers of protection so that any hand raised against you risks losing its own wrist. You begin by securing resources that others depend upon, not the other way around. When you control what they need, you are no longer merely a man or woman in their eyes. You are a gatekeeper to their survival, their profit, their ambitions. People will hesitate to harm you if harming you would harm themselves. The wise ruler, or the wise operator in any arena, does not wait for the moment of attack to prepare. You must build your defenses while the sky is clear, not when the storm is already breaking over your head. Look at your life. Where are you exposed? Who has the power to undo you? What assets, relationships, or systems have you left unprotected? In my day, a ruler would fortify not just their castle, but their alliances, marrying daughters to potential rivals, granting small favors to dangerous men, weaving themselves into a web so tangled that to strike at them would be to pull down the attacker as well. This is not a matter of paranoia. It is a matter of inevitability. If you hold any position worth keeping, you will become a target. The merchant whose ships feed the city must have gods at the docks, contracts that bind his rivals, and a ledger so intertwined with the fortunes of others that even his competitors pray for his continued success. The statesman must secure the loyalty of his advisors, not merely through shared ideals, but through debts they cannot repay, through secrets they dare not reveal. You must also recognize that strength is not always visible, and that the most effective fortifications are often invisible to the untrained eye. A king with high walls may still fall if his treasurer is loyal to another. A man with loyal friends may still be betrayed if those friends have no real stake in his survival. To be untouchable, you must make your position so advantageous, so difficult to uproot, that even whispers of rebellion fade before they gain breath. In fortifying your position, never rely on a single wall. One defense can be breached, one ally can turn, one law can be changed. You must build layers. Financial strength, social influence, loyal allies, indispensable skills. Each layer forces your enemies to take greater risks, spend more resources, and expose themselves more fully in the act of moving against you. Many will give up before they begin, but remember, your fortress is not built solely of stone and steel. It is built of perception. If you appear vulnerable, others will test you. If you appear desperate, they will move in for the kill. The fortified position is as much a performance as it is a reality. You must project the image that you are difficult to remove, that you are surrounded by loyal forces, that you are embedded in systems that cannot function without you. The truth may be more fragile, but appearances will often protect you until you have time to make them real. The most dangerous moment in power is when others believe they can act against you without consequence. Your task is to make certain that belief never takes root. You do this by rewarding loyalty generously, punishing betrayal decisively, and ensuring that every move against you carries visible, memorable cost. Let the fate of one failed enemy serve as a warning to 10 potential ones. In my experience, a single well-placed lesson can secure years of peace. And if you would be truly untouchable, you must think beyond the short term. The enemy you fear today may be gone tomorrow, but another will rise in their place. Your fortifications must endure beyond any single threat. They must be woven into the structure of your life so deeply that removing you is not simply an act of hostility. It is an act of self-destruction for the one who attempts it. This is the difference between the ruler who survives for a season and the ruler whose name outlives him. Power is not only about what you are, it is about what people believe you are. A man may be weak in private, but if the world believes him to be strong, they will treat him as such. Likewise, a ruler may possess unmatched skill, but if others believe him to be incompetent, his authority will crumble before he even makes a move. This is why the second pillar of becoming untouchable is the control of your narrative. The shaping of the story the world tells about you. Do not leave your reputation in the hands of others, for they will twist it to suit their needs. Your enemies will define you in ways that diminish you. Your rivals will spread truths that harm you, and even your allies, if careless, will speak in ways that weaken your position. You must be the first voice, the loudest voice, and when necessary, the only voice that tells the story of who you are. In my time, rulers who understood this could turn defeat into a symbol of resilience and turn even the most ruthless act into a tale of necessary strength. They understood that perception is not born from reality. It is crafted, shaped, and maintained like a delicate sculpture. If you act and do not control the story of your action, you hand the pen to someone who will use it against you. To control the narrative, you must decide, in advance, the role you wish to play in the eyes of others. Are you the unshakable protector, the cunning strategist, the benevolent leader, the feared enforcer? Once you choose, every word, every public gesture, every carefully placed rumor must serve that role. People believe stories more readily than they believe facts, and so your life must be told as a story they cannot resist repeating. But control is not only about broadcasting your chosen image, it is also about silencing or overshadowing images that harm you. If a damaging story begins to spread, do not meet it with frantic denial. This only confirms its weight. Instead, bury it beneath a greater, more compelling story that captures the public's attention. The masses have short memories. Feed them something louder, grander, and they will let the lesser tale rot in silence. The untouchable individual also understands that the narrative must be reinforced not only by words, but by carefully chosen actions. A single gesture at the right time can speak louder than 1,000 proclamations. If you wish to be seen as fearless, you must be seen walking where danger lies. If you wish to be seen as unshakable, you must meet crisis with stillness. Even if inside you are boiling with calculation, the world judges not what happens within you, but what they witness upon your face. Understand, too, that your enemies will try to plant their own narratives about you. Stories that paint you as weak, corrupt, or unstable. Anticipate them before they are spoken. If they say you are too soft, commit an act of decisive firmness before they can plant the seed. If they whisper that you are losing influence, orchestrate a public display of your control that silences the rumor before it takes root. It is not enough to react, you must preempt. In my experience, the most masterful operators never speak directly of their power. They allow others to carry that tale for them. They drop hints, they make strategic moves that inspire gossip, and they create moments that observers cannot resist repeating. In this way, their legend grows without their hand ever appearing to guide it. This is one of the purest forms of narrative control, when people tell your story for you, and in doing so, make you larger than life. Perception is not a static thing. The story you tell today must be adapted tomorrow to match changing circumstances. A ruler at war cannot tell the same story as a ruler at peace. The merchant rising in wealth tells a different story than the one who has already built his empire. You must adjust your narrative to fit the moment, always keeping yourself at the center of the stage in the role you have chosen. And never forget that the most dangerous narrative is not the one shouted in the marketplace. It is the one whispered in private chambers behind closed doors. These whispers, if not countered, grow roots. You must have ears everywhere, not to react with rage, but to subtly feed those same channels with whispers of your own. Whispers that serve you, that spread doubt among your enemies, that make those who might turn against you hesitate. Whispered stories are like seeds planted in shadow. With time, they grow into the unshakable truths people will fight to defend on your behalf. If you wish to become untouchable, you must first understand the single greatest weakness that has undone more rulers, generals, merchants, and schemers than any external force: the inability to separate feeling from decision. Men are destroyed not because they lack intelligence, but because their emotions seize the reins at the very moment they need the clearest vision. This is why mastering emotional distance is not merely a discipline, it is a weapon. The untouchable are not those who feel nothing. They are those who do not let their feelings dictate their moves. Anger will push you to strike too soon. Pride will make you defend a position not worth holding. Love will blind you to betrayal until it is too late. Even pity can be dangerous, for mercy given in the wrong moment can be an invitation for your enemies to strike deeper. You must see people not as you wish them to be, but as they are, stripped of the illusions that emotion paints over them. In my time, I watched rulers spare enemies out of sentiment, only to have those same men return with sharpened blades. I saw alliances collapse because one man placed personal affection over strategic necessity. Emotional distance is the art of removing yourself from the heat of the moment so that you can view the board as a whole, not just the piece directly in front of you. When you can look at a situation without the haze of personal bias, your decisions will always outmatch those who are still wrestling with their feelings. To master this, you must first train yourself in the discipline of delay. When something stirs your emotions, an insult, a betrayal, a moment of triumph, resist the instinct to respond at once. The first impulse is rarely the right one. Step back. Let the moment pass. In that space between feeling and action, clarity begins to take form. You begin to see the long-term cost and benefit, rather than the fleeting satisfaction of an immediate reaction. Another part of emotional distance is understanding that loyalty and affection are not guarantees of safety. A man may swear his devotion to you for years, but if the tides turn and he sees greater advantage elsewhere, sentiment will not keep him at your side. The untouchable never assume that anyone's feelings are fixed. They accept that human nature bends towards self-interest, and they prepare accordingly. This does not mean you must become cold to all. It means you must value loyalty as a matter of structure, not sentiment. Reward it when it serves you, but never depend on it blindly. You must also learn to detach from your own victories. Many are ruined not in defeat, but in the intoxication of success. They believe the adoration of the moment will last forever, that the loyalty bought by recent triumph will hold without constant reinforcement. In this drunken state, they become careless, open to attack. The one who maintains emotional distance, even in victory, sees the danger beyond the applause. He knows that today's supporters can be tomorrow's enemies, and he continues to prepare as though the storm is coming. In matters of conflict, emotional distance allows you to act with precision. The one who fights in anger will make their hatred visible, and that hatred can be exploited. The one who acts without emotion reveals nothing of their true intent. They can strike without warning, withdraw without shame, and pivot without appearing inconsistent. They are unreadable, and therefore they are dangerous. Do not mistake this for lifelessness. The untouchable can still charm, inspire, and even comfort when the moment calls for it. But they do so with control, as an actor steps into a role. They give warmth when it serves a purpose, not because their feelings overwhelm them. They allow the mask of emotion to work for them, while never letting it dictate their true moves. The greatest test of emotional distance is when betrayal comes from those closest to you. Many crumble in these moments, consumed by grief or rage, and in that collapse, they give their enemies exactly what they want. The untouchable, however, sees betrayal not as a personal wound, but as a shift in the game. They act not to soothe their heart, but to reestablish their advantage. In this way, they remain untouchable, even when the knife is still in their back, because their mind never surrendered to the wound. To master emotional distance is to move through the world untethered to the volatile currents that sweep others away. It allows you to think 3 moves ahead, while others are still trapped in the emotion of the first. It makes you unpredictable, unshakable, and immune to the traps that destroy those who cannot see beyond their own feelings. The easiest way to destroy your own power is to use it too often. The world is full of those who mistake movement for mastery, who believe that constant action is proof of strength. They strike at every provocation, punish every insult, challenge every rival. And in doing so, they exhaust their resources, reveal their methods, and teach their enemies exactly how to defeat them. The untouchable, however, knows that the true art of power is restraint. They do not move because they are provoked. They move because the time is right. When you strike only when necessary, every move you make carries weight. People learn to fear not your constant aggression, but the rare moments when you decide to act. The silence before your move becomes more terrifying than the move itself, for no one knows when or how you will choose to answer an offense. It is this uncertainty that protects you. A predictable enemy is a manageable enemy. An unpredictable one is dangerous. By holding back, by allowing provocations to pass without visible reaction, you create a fog around your intentions. That fog is your shield. The act of waiting is not weakness, it is gathering. While others waste their strength in minor skirmishes, you conserve yours, watching, measuring, letting your opponents reveal their true nature. You let them speak too much, make too many moves, expose their allies and their weaknesses. By the time you decide to act, you do so with complete knowledge of where to strike. And you strike in a way that ends the matter entirely. This patience requires discipline. Pride will whisper to you to respond immediately, to prove yourself in the moment. Fear will urge you to act before the opportunity disappears. But the untouchable knows that the right strike is never rushed. A blade swung too soon may miss the target. A blade held too long will cut with precision. Timing is the difference between a wound that heals and a blow that ends the fight. You must also understand that some enemies are more valuable alive than destroyed. The threat they pose, the tension they create, can serve as a warning to others or a tool to keep certain alliances in place. Striking them too soon removes a piece from the board that might have been useful to you. The untouchable does not see every enemy as a problem to be erased. They see some as pieces to be positioned until the moment comes when removing them yields the greatest gain. Restraint also prevents the erosion of fear. If you punish every small offense with equal severity, you dull the impact of your power. People become accustomed to it, and what was once terrifying becomes ordinary. Instead, let the minor slights pass with an unreadable expression. Let the offenders believe they have escaped your notice. Then, when a strike is truly necessary, make it decisive, make it visible, and make it final. The contrast between your stillness and your sudden action will burn itself into the minds of everyone watching. There is also the matter of perception. The one who strikes too often begins to look desperate, insecure, or even paranoid. The one who holds their hand until the right moment appears calculating, confident, in control. It is better to be feared for what you might do than dismissed for what you have already done too often. Let others wonder how far you are willing to go, but do not show them unless the moment demands it. Striking only when necessary does not mean inaction. While you wait, you prepare. You build alliances quietly, you gather information, you arrange circumstances so that when the blow comes, it lands with the force of inevitability. You remove escape routes, you weaken defenses, you make it so that when the strike finally falls, it is not just an attack, it is the conclusion of a story you have been writing for months or years. The untouchable is patient because they know time is an ally to those who can endure it. Every day you wait, your enemies reveal more of themselves. Every step they take without fear of you leads them closer to the trap you have already built. And when the moment arrives, your strike is not a reaction. It is the final note in a symphony you have conducted from the shadows. To become untouchable is not to live without danger. It is to become the danger that others dare not provoke. It is to stand so deeply fortified that every path to your destruction is lined with risk and consequence. It is to control not just your actions, but the very story others tell about you. It is to strip away the illusions that cloud judgment, keeping your emotions in check so that every move you make is born of clarity, not impulse. And it is to wield your power with precision, striking rarely, but with such force that one blow accomplishes what 100 could not. The untouchable live by a different rhythm than the rest of the world. They are not hurried by insults, not distracted by petty battles, not baited into revealing their strength on someone else's terms. Their power is not a constant noise, but a silent presence that shapes the behavior of everyone around them. In every court, in every marketplace, in every battlefield, visible or invisible. Those who are untouchable bend the game to their will without ever appearing to chase it. This path is not for the careless. It requires patience where others seek speed, foresight where others see only the present, and the discipline to act not when your blood demands it, but when the world itself aligns in your favor. Follow these principles, and you will find yourself in a place few ever reach. A place where your enemies calculate the cost and choose silence, where your allies move carefully to keep your favor, and where your name carries a weight that even your absence cannot diminish.